Remember when Saturday mornings meant dumping a bucket of oversized plastic blocks onto the shag carpet or twisting a Rubik's Cube until your thumbs hurt? There was a time in Canada when toys weren't downloaded or streamed. They were held, built, broken, and taped back together. Today, we're digging through 10 iconic Canadian toys from the 1980s that shaped childhood. These weren't just playthings gathering dust in your basement. They were the centerpieces of birthday parties at community centers, the treasures circled in blue pen in the Sears catalog, and the reasons siblings fought over who got the front seat on road trips. Maple leaf table hockey figures. The small plastic hockey players came in Toronto maple leaf blue and classic NHL colors, mounted on metal rods that slid across particle board surfaces. Irwin Toy, based in Toronto, made these sets through the 1970s and into the 80s. For Canadian kids, this was as close as you got to Saturday night on CBC without actually having tickets to Maple Leaf Gardens. The games lived in basements across the country. The particle board playing surface would warp slightly in humid summers, making the puck bounce in unpredictable ways. Sticks snapped off the plastic players regularly. The little figures would fly out of their slots during intense tournaments, landing behind the furnace or under the washing machine. When the game finally died, all the pieces got dumped into a Tupperware container that rattled around the basement for years. Irwin Toy wasn't just another toy company. At its peak in the early 80s, it was the face of Canadian toy manufacturing. Walk into a Canadian home, and most of the toys in the living room or playroom were either made or distributed by Irwin. The company represented something important. The idea that Canada could make its own toys, tell its own stories, and compete with American and European giants. The Eaton's and Sears catalogs each fall showcased these table hockey sets on glossy pages. Kids circled them with blue Bic pens, adding urgent notes in the margins for Santa's consideration. Dads who actually understood the game would play alongside their kids, providing the goal horn sound effects and doing exaggerated color commentary. Mega Bloks Montreal company Ritvic Holdings launched Mega Bloks in 1984. These were jumbo plastic construction bricks, bigger than Lego, designed for toddler hands. The packaging came in both English and French, a detail that mattered in a country still working out its linguistic identity. Within a few years, Mega Bloks sets reached 30 countries, but Canada remained the home base and primary testing ground. The blocks themselves were simple, primary colors, chunky, nearly indestructible, though kids certainly tried. You'd dump a whole bucket onto the shag carpet and immediately step on one in your sock feet, learning a valuable lesson about cleanup. The corners got chewed, the colors faded, but the blocks kept clicking together, year after year. Preschool daycares across Canada stacked with these things. They were cheaper than Lego, and the Made in Canada stamp on the box gave parents a small burst of patriotic satisfaction. The blocks taught basic engineering, how things fit together, how structures balance, how a castle needs a foundation. Simple lessons delivered through simple plastic. The company grew fast, too fast maybe. What started as a purely Canadian toy maker became a global brand. Mattel eventually bought Mega Brands, and the acquisition changed everything. The packaging became more international. The branding lost its distinctly Montreal feel. Licensed themes, superheroes, princesses, franchises, replaced the simple bucket of primary colored blocks. The company was more successful than ever, but it stopped being ours in the way it had been in 1984. That early, simple 80s version, the one with the bilingual box and the regional pride, faded into memory. The blocks are still around, just wearing different clothes and speaking in a more corporate voice. Cabbage Patch Kids Coleco launched these soft-bodied dolls in 1982, and they became the decade's biggest doll phenomenon. Each kid came with a name and adoption papers, turning purchase into ritual. But in Canada, there was a twist. Coleco operated a major factory in Montreal, producing dolls and games specifically for the Canadian market. Quebec Toy Aisles carried French-language releases under the name Petits Bouts de Choux. The adoption certificates came in both English and French. The dolls had distinct faces, chubby cheeks, button noses, yarn hair in various shades. No two were exactly alike, which fed the collecting mania. Parents lined up at Zellers and Sears, hoping to grab any doll left on the shelf. News footage from the era shows adults literally fighting over boxes. Kids compared signatures on the soft cloth bottoms, the way they'd later compare serial numbers on collectible cards. The adoption certificates got carefully filed in kitchen junk drawers, tucked between instruction manuals and old birthday cards. Living rooms transformed into doll hospitals, Cabbage Patch beds appeared, tiny strollers, miniature doll sneakers scattered across carpeted floors. The dolls became siblings, friends, patients, students, whatever narrative the kid needed that day. Telling and preparing this video took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now, back to the video. Care Bears. These plush bears started as a greeting card concept in the early 80s. Each bear had a distinct belly badge and personality. Cheer Bear, Grumpy Bear, Tender Heart Bear. They represented emotions, making feelings tangible for kids still learning to name what they felt inside. In Canada, companies like Irwin Toy distributed them. Their TV specials and cartoons became weekend staples on Canadian stations. Between 1983 and 1987, more than 40 million Care Bears sold globally, with particularly strong presence in Canadian department stores. The bears were everywhere, on lunchboxes, bed sheets, pajamas, birthday cakes. The bears served a specific purpose during long Canadian winters. When a blizzard rattled the bedroom window and darkness came at 4:30 p.m., a Care Bear was comfort in plush form. Kids shared favorites during recess, debating the merits of Cheer Bear versus Grumpy Bear, with the intensity usually reserved for hockey team allegiances. Temporary trading happened. You could borrow someone's bear for the afternoon if you were having a particularly rough day. Hospital gift shops and mall card stores stocked them as the default gift for sick kids or birthdays. The bears represented care itself, commodified, but somehow still genuine. Pound puppies. Soft, droopy-eared plush dogs with oversized, sad eyes came packaged in cardboard kennels with adoption certificates. Popular from the mid-80s onward, they tapped into something deep: Canadian kids' love of pets, without requiring landlord approval or daily walks. The Canadian releases came with bilingual paperwork. The dogs found spots in every major chain: Woolco, Kmart Canada, consumers distributing. Kids filled out adoption forms at kitchen tables, smudge pencil, carefully selecting names. Each dog became a responsibility, a companion, a project. Road trips meant pound puppies in the back seat of station wagons, their noses rubbed bare from being used as pillows. Siblings argued over who got the mom dog versus the tiny puppies. The hierarchy mattered in ways adults couldn't quite understand. The dogs were simple: no electronics, no moving parts, just soft fabric, floppy ears, and those perpetually sad eyes that seemed to understand whatever troubles a 7-year-old might face. They were uncomplicated comfort. Teddy Ruxpin. An animatronic teddy bear with a cassette player inside, Teddy Ruxpin's mouth and eyes moved as the tape played stories and songs. Launched in the mid-80s, he became the must-have high-tech toy for families who could afford the premium price. Canadian catalogs marketed him as the ultimate Christmas gift. For many families, this was the first talking toy in the house, a bridge between traditional teddy bears and the digital future. The bear came dubbed into multiple languages, marketed as a cozy bedtime storyteller for long winter nights when darkness stretched from dinner through breakfast. The ritual was specific: the clunk of the cassette going in, The mechanical whir just before Teddy's mouth began moving. Kids watched, half fascinated and half spooked by the moving mouth in the dark bedroom. Was it magic or machinery? At age 6, the line blurred. Cassette tapes accumulated in plastic cases, stacked on bedroom shelves. Kids memorized the stories, knowing exactly when Teddy would pause or when the background music would swell. The bear became a routine, a reliable presence in an unpredictable childhood world. But novelty has a shelf life. Cheaper electronic toys appeared. VCRs offered more flexible entertainment. Game consoles provided interactive storytelling. The mechanism inside Teddy was prone to breaking. Gears stripped, cassette players jammed, motors burned out. Many units ended up at the back of closets once the tapes wore out and replacement became difficult. The bear represented a transitional technology, briefly magical before being superseded by something better, faster, more engaging. Rubik's Cube Rubik's 3x3 color puzzle, invented in the late 70s, exploded in the early 80s. Over 100 million cubes sold in those first few years. In Canada, they appeared everywhere. Corner shops, consumers distributing, department stores, cheap, portable, and endlessly frustrating. The cube was perfect for Canadian winters. It fit into a toque or jacket pocket, ready for bus rides and indoor recess during blizzards. Teachers kept them on desks as brain teasers. Kids used them as status symbols. Solving even one side earned playground credibility. The clicking sound became ubiquitous. Lunchrooms, hallways, living rooms. The twist and snap of plastic layers rotating. Some kids memorized algorithms from library books. Others developed their own intuitive methods. Many simply peeled off the stickers, rearranging them to fake a solution. The cube didn't judge the method, only the result. After the initial puzzle boom faded in the mid-80s, attention shifted toward screens. Arcade games offered instant gratification. Home consoles provided animated rewards. The cube's pure logic puzzle seemed quaint next to Super Mario Bros. It remained available, a constant background presence, but stopped being the hot Christmas toy. The boom was over, even as the cube itself endured. Home consoles. The Atari 2600 brought arcade games home in the late 70s and early 80s. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Pitfall, suddenly available without a pocketful of quarters. Then Nintendo's entertainment system arrived in the mid-80s, raising the bar with Super Mario Bros., Duck Hunt, and The Legend of Zelda. In Canada, companies like Irwin Toy distributed these systems through Eaton's, Sears, and Consumers Distributing. The consoles turned the living room TV into a shared toy, though shared often meant time turns and heated negotiations. These were the first toys that plugged into the family hydro, causing new debates about screen time and electricity bills. The rituals became universal. Blowing dust out of gray NES cartridges, even though Nintendo insisted it didn't help. The satisfying click of pushing the tray down. Wood panel basements lit by tube TVs, the orange Duck Hunt zapper pointed at the screen while someone yelled at the laughing dog. Atari joysticks with the rubber boot split for marathon sessions, exposing the internal mechanics. These systems fundamentally changed the toy landscape. Board games gathered dust. Action figures saw reduced play. Entire toy aisles shifted from traditional playthings toward electronics. Simple toys couldn't compete with on-screen worlds that responded to player input. The change happened gradually, then suddenly, and by the early 90s, the toy industry had fundamentally transformed. Transformers. Hasbro launched Transformers in 1984 with an animated series, comics, and a line of converting robot vehicle toys. Each figure physically transformed from vehicle to robot and back, combining car culture with science fiction in one chunky plastic package. Hasbro Canada distributed them with bilingual packaging. Commercial breaks on YTV and Canadian Saturday morning blocks ran constant Transformers ads. Kids absorbed the mythology. Autobots versus Decepticons, Optimus Prime's noble leadership, Megatron's ruthless ambition. The toys required patience and problem-solving. Kids sat cross-legged on floors, instruction sheets spread out, trying to transform Optimus without breaking his arms. The mechanisms were clever but fragile. Parts disappeared. Someone always had a missing fist or a lone laser gun. Trading happened at school, creating complex toy economies based on character popularity and transformation difficulty. Canadian winter play meant reenacting crashes on frozen sidewalks and in snowbanks. The robots could withstand cold. They couldn't withstand sibling roughhousing or enthusiastic play. Arms snapped, joints loosened, paint chipped away, revealing the cheaper plastic underneath. Tonka, Canada, metal trucks, bright yellow steel construction trucks, dump trucks, cranes, loaders, built by Tonka with a strong Canadian manufacturing and distribution presence from the 50s through the 80s. These weren't delicate toys. They were built for gravel driveways, back lane alleys, and spring mud pits. For many Canadian kids, a Tonka was the first vehicle they drove, loading it with gravel, Lego bricks, or all-dressed chips. The weight of metal in mittened hands felt substantial, real. The wheels ground over frozen dirt and parking lot gravel with satisfying resistance. These trucks worked. Rust formed along the edges after spring thaws. Paint chipped down to bare metal. The dump bed got dented from over-enthusiastic use. But the trucks kept functioning, season after season, kid after kid. Daycares shared them across multiple cohorts of children. They became communal property, toughened by collective use. The metal trucks died not from lack of durability, but from economic inevitability. Rising steel and labor costs pushed manufacturers toward lighter plastic designs and overseas production. Safety standards evolved, favoring softer materials that couldn't cause the same injuries as steel edges. Profit margins tightened. Classic all-metal construction became economically unsustainable. Thanks for taking this trip down memory lane with us. If this video brought back memories, smash that like button and share it with someone who grew up in the 80s. Subscribe so you never miss our deep dives into forgotten Canadian culture, from vanished snacks to defunct department stores. Drop a comment with your favorite childhood toy we missed.